International team of geologists and paleontologists is pioneering a groundbreaking methodology to reliably determine the age of fossil-bearing rocks by directly dating fossilized dinosaur eggshells. Many fossil sites around the world are only coarsely dated without precise information on the geologic age of fossils. Experts struggle to understand just how different species and ecosystems relate across time and space. Now, the study is led by Dr. Ryan Tucker from Stellenbosch University's Department of Earth Sciences. Dr. Tucker joins us now. So a very good afternoon, or evening rather, to you. I mean, this discovery of dating fossils by testing the dinosaur eggshells themselves, it sounds fascinating, but also very complex. For the benefit of myself and our viewers, just how big of a breakthrough is this?
It's quite big in the fact that it's a novel technique. For a long time, we have used kind of a mineral-based way of assessing age in rock. But for a lot of fossil assemblages, these minerals aren't always present. And so as kind of a sedimentologist that works with fossils, we try to figure out different ways of assessing time related to that fossil. Like, how old did this dinosaur live, and how does it fit within the kind of grand scheme of Earth's history? And so finding a different way, but also a fossil-based way of actually assessing that time in Earth's history is actually very key to unraveling that story.
And I mean, as you say, we often hear about mineral-based way, volcanic ash as an example, or other things being used to date rocks. I mean, what makes eggshells a suitable and perhaps more importantly, reliable? Can you perhaps break down in simple terms the process behind dating an eggshell that's been fossilized for, in oftentimes, more than 60 million years?
Yeah, so the best analogy I've taught students at Stellenbosch is it'd be like a sponge. So if you take a dry sponge, put it on some water, it absorbs that water into the sponge itself, and then it'll kind of house it in that sponge for a while. And so after a organism, let's say a dinosaur, hatches out of the eggshell gets buried. And so it may be that that eggshell acts like a sponge, soaking up some of these isotopes or elements that we are able to use to age date. And specifically with our results, this is uranium and lead. And what's wonderful about uranium is it has a very long decay history. So it takes a long time to break down, but we actually know the rate of that decay. And so we can actually see it increments of time, how much is uranium, how much is lead, and then that ratio we can get an age. And so that eggshell is acting like a sponge. It's picking up that uranium from their surrounding soils, housing it in the actual calcite of that eggshell and preserving it. And then over time, we discover it in the field, and then we analyze it in the lab and then figure out how to, detangle that age and then figure out how it relates to the fossil.
Yeah. I mean, this next question is two-pronged in a way. So considering, especially what we've been saying in our introduction, that many fossil sites around the world are only loosely dated, what does this, uncertainty mean for our understanding of dinosaur evolution and extinction, or any other fossil for that matter? And also, why have dinosaur eggshells been so difficult to accurately date until now, do you think?
Okay, so to answer let's start with the second part. Actually, part of it is technology.
Yeah.
For the last couple of decades, we've really looked at ways of assessing mineral-based time. And we have figured out instrumentation that is exceedingly accurate in terms of detangling that isotope and that history and the age. And calcite is something that we knew about. We had alternative ways of looking about it, but we never directly looked at eggshell itself. Um, there has been one or two studies archaeologically that looked at it within 100 million year or within a million years, 100,000 years, and it was okay. But our study was one of the first that pioneered that said, okay, this might be a meaningful deep time geochronometer. It might hold time in terms of this. Now, to kind of go back to why this is something different is in the fact that fossil bone, fossil teeth, we are trying to age date them. They're something that is physical, it can take up uranium, but bone in itself is very porous. Anyone that was braaiing during the rugby tonight, you crack open a bone, see the pores in the bone themselves. Well, in sediment, those are notorious for water flowing through it. And so you get mineral after isotope saturating it. So it kind of clouds the isotopes. It doesn't allow us to assess it correctly. And so what we find is that these porous mediums are very poor to age date. There's too much uncertainty with them. And eggshell, and for maybe many that have cracked an egg this morning or tomorrow morning, eggshell is actually like structurally genetically related to the parent. There's layers in there with unique crystal lattices and structures that are directly dependent on the parent. And so when we look at this in very finite or very fine detail, we can directly see that the calcite is preserved. It is a prismatic structure. It hasn't been deformed. It hasn't been deteriorated throughout the 100 million years it's been in the rock record. And so it allows us that secondary check to say, this is more likely a probable age that is meaningful for the fossil itself.
Yeah. And do you expect this method to challenge or perhaps even to confirm just the timeline we thought we understood about dinosaur or fossil evolution?
Well, I think you said it perfectly. It's a tool. I think that our understanding of it is very finite in terms of where it will go. There's a lot of stuff that we need to investigate in terms of this methodology and the age dating of the eggshell and what it means. But a lot of fossil assemblages right now, the best estimate are within 5, 10, 15 million years. And so if you think you got a brand new dinosaur, like let's say you find a brand new tyrannosaur, 100% complete, gorgeous preservation, and now you need to compare it to other tyrannosaurs like it, but within a 15 million year window. You don't know how it particularly kind of fits within that. And so if this eggshell dating as another tool can narrow that window down to maybe plus or minus, a million years, 2 million years, that is massive in terms of understanding how that dinosaur relates globally and even locally. So it's another tool to our kit to better assess time when it comes to fossils.
Yeah, like I said, fascinating. Talk to us about, South Africa's role, the significance of South Africa's role in a global discovery. I mean, and the fact, of course, the contribution of African earth scientists also on this global scale.
Yeah, so part of this discovery, I have to give my hats off to my collaborator, Chris Lana at Stellenbosch University. We have the first in Africa of this type of machine that is assessing these age dates in the eggshell. And so we will actually be one of the global hubs for this form of age dating of rock. And so I already have students lined up for honors and masters. We're going to advertise for PhD students now. And so I want students to come into Stellenbosch University, get trained up in terms of this novel technique, and to be forerunners within this novel technology that we're bringing to South Africa. So the door is wide open. It's just getting people in and interested and going with it. So, but In terms of the science, this is cutting edge. We're literally at the forefront of the wave that's coming in, and it's big.
Yeah, it is big. I would imagine the Karoo would be also one of those areas that you visit first with a whole host of your students as we wrap up.
Yeah, yeah. So kind of the eastern portions of the country with various dinosaur deposits we'll probably be interested in scanning, but globally, um, amniotes or egg-laying organisms have been around for 250, 300 million years. So we've got a lot of sediments to age date via this method.
All right, fantastic. And congratulations and good luck to everyone involved. Thank you so much for your time. Dr. Ryan Tucker from Stellenbosch University's Department of Earth Sciences on that fascinating story.